I hear the concern that wild capture is harmful, and I do take that seriously. I own Roomba with the purpose of research and education, not exploitation. When you take compound factors like deoxygenation, acidification, warming, time is very short for a lot of species. Studying them gives us possible captive breeding and restoration effort possibilities, which I think is very important because a lot of fish species and other creatures, they simply do not have captive bred specimens available, period, especially like pipefish. My goal with that over many years is to learn how to do that and eventually supply captive bred, and then from there restore the oceans with very hardy specimens. That's going to take many years. That's not just, oh, I'm going to finish doing this tomorrow. He was caught from the Florida Keys region through an ethical supplier who is licensed. Horseshoe crabs are considered vulnerable, including the species I have, and that's primarily due to over-harvesting for medical uses. Some surveys show a 2 to 9% drop in population every year in the Atlantic, except where I got Roomba. I got Roomba from Florida, and in the southeast in Florida, their population is noted as being stable. So keep in mind, I'm not ever collecting specimens from threatened areas. Proposed solutions like dumping a bunch of tons into the ocean does have massive ecological effects. The oceans have taken on about 372 zettajoules of energy from global warming since the 1950s, about 90% of all of emissions. Even if warming did somehow slow, that heat uptake is not going to stop. We expect about 0.08 to 0.1 more of a drop in pH with the oceans by 2100, so that acidification makes it really hard for mollusks to have shells, and obviously that has a lot of impacts on corals too. Like, that is past the tipping point of coral. Like, it is no longer coral might not make it. It is now inevitable that every single coral in the ocean is destined to die within, a couple decades. That's not really much time. So it's not just horseshoe crabs this is important to do for. It's pretty much every single coral out there. This is probably one of the last times to be collecting them, to be preserving the ocean's genes until we can figure out breeding specimens that are genetically modified to be able to handle this change. This deoxygenation also creates completely oxygen dead zones in the ocean, and those are growing, especially in deeper zones of the ocean, which is extremely concerning for all species alike. It is extremely important to preserve wild phenotypes now. It now will require massive genetic modification, whether that's selective breeding or straight up CRISPR. And the reality is that's going to take a long time. So we can either know what we're getting into now, or we can hope things will get better. We're already at 1.1 degrees Celsius over pre-industrial temps, but what's really sad, at 1.5, over 70% of coral will die, and at 2 degrees, which we expect to hit in about 20 years, all of coral will die. So in about 5 to 10 years, most of the coral will die. And by 2100, we're expected to have 4 degrees Celsius, which pretty much guarantees a great dying level of mass extinction. Between just 2009 and 2018, we lost 14% of all corals. Let that sink in. High CO2 means corals are struggling to grow, let alone build, and they are also just weakening. Coral reefs support 25% of marine species, and especially when crustaceans, like their food sources, cannot form their shells anymore, that means they no longer get food. So that is a massive compounding issue, not just affecting clams.